We're going to talk today about basic, super duper basic sine and cosine curves. All right. We're not getting into anything crazy, shifting it left and right, that sort of a thing. Just very basic. You guys need to know the bare minimum, really and truly. All right. We're going to talk about a sine curve. You guys are familiar with sine and a cosine curve. They're kind of similar in some regards. They're kind of different. When you are referring, or when they refer to one cycle, that means one trip around the unit circle, right? So one circle, all right, one cycle, right here, means one trip around the unit circle. And it's going to be like, it's kind of a wave kind of a thing. We're going to talk about amplitude, we're going to talk about time period, and we're going to talk about increments from where each one goes. Now, go back. Hold on. All right, so here is your basic sine curve. What you need to take away from sine. A sine curve, write this down, starts at the x-axis. Right? Your sine curve starts at the x-axis. This is the quote-unquote parent function. You guys are familiar with parent functions like x squared makes a u, goes through the origin, that sort of a thing. This is your parent function. So I want you to see how this is related to the unit circle. If you have an angle on the unit circle, your sine value is the y, cosine value is the x, it's the ordered pair, right? So if I look right here at 0, everybody see where I'm at 0? What is the y value at 0? Where my yellow dot is? 0. What's the y value right there at 0? 0, okay? So then we go up to pi over 2. Here's my first dot. Look at pi over 2. What is the y value of your ordered pair at pi over 2? 1, so that's why I went up to 1. Then we come back down. What is the y value when you're at pi? 0. Then I go to pi over 2. What is the y value at pi over 2? -1. And then we get back up here, and we're back where? At 0. So there's your sine curve. That's where that comes from on the unit circle. We start at the x-axis. The reason why sine starts at the x-axis is because on your unit circle, the y value on the x-axis is 0. All right, if I can show you this, look, here is a basic, so same thing goes for cosine. Remember, if you talk about cosine, cosine is what value of an ordered pair? X, all right? So at 0, what is the x value? It's 1. So then I go to pi over 2. What's the x value here? 0. Then I go to pi. What's the x value? -1. Then I go down here. What's the x value? And then I get back to where we started. So do you see that? Okay, this is how this relates to your unit circle. We're going to have different time periods, different increments. You'll see in a minute. And different amplitudes, high and low. But everything is based upon a trip around the unit circle. So that's where this comes from. Your domain for your curves, you can use any x values. Your parent function, the highest it goes is negative or positive 1, the lowest it goes is -1. That's called the amplitude. It's like the range. It's going to be the number that's in front of the function. It'll say like 3 cosine something. That means the highest it goes is 3, the lowest it goes is -3. It's real simple. And then one time period is 2 pi. That's one full circle. So here's what I want you guys to kind of be familiar with. Sine curves always start at the x-axis. Well, let's say the x-axis. They don't necessarily always start at the origin because they could move left and right. We're not going to, but they could. Cosine curves always start at the amplitude. If it's a positive one, it starts up. If it's a negative one, where do you think it starts? Down. There you go. All right, we good? I'll get to some examples here in a minute. Like I just talked about, for parent functions, the domain is all real numbers. The highest and lowest your parent function goes is positive, -1. One normal time period is one full circle, that sort of a thing. So let's talk about how you would graph this. Okay, I know this says from -pi to 4 pi. We'll just do from 0 to 4 pi. How many times around the unit circle is 4 pi? 2 times, okay? So here is your function. We're going to identify, and I'll show you in a minute. Every time we graph, you're going to identify 3 things: the amplitude, the time period, and what's called the increments. All right, the amplitude is the number in front of the function. What number is in front of this function? 2. So what's the highest this graph is going to go? 2. What's the lowest it's going to go? Negative 2. Perfect. Where is this going to start? At the x-axis or at the amplitude? Sine starts at the x-axis, okay? All right, we already know 2 things. So I can go, okay, I'm going to go up 2, and I know I'm going to go down 2. Now, we are not shifting left and right. In other classes, you guys might, depending upon what you take next year, what you get in college. But for right now, we're just going to start at 0, 0. So now you have to figure out the time period. Well, they told us the time period. They told us how much we want to go. Let's not even worry about that right now. The time period. How do you figure out the time period for any other one than what they told us? You take 2 pi, which is 1 whole circle, and you divide it by the number that's in front of x. What number is in front of x? No, what number is directly in front of x? A 1, okay? So what's the time period we're talking about? 2 pi. So we're going from 0 to 2 pi. But we have to have 4 tick marks in between. So in order to figure out how many tick marks are in between, those are our increments. You take your time period and you divide it into 4 pieces. So what's 2 pi divided by 4? Pi over 2. So in between each tick mark is how much space? What's the increment value? Pi over 2. So that's how you find your tick marks. So we'll say here's 0. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So my first increment from 0 to pi over 2, how far did I go? I went pi over 2. So now I'm going to add another pi over 2. What's 1 pi over 2 plus 1 pi over 2? It's 2 pi over 2, which is pi, okay? Now I'm going to add another pi over 2. So 2 pi over 2 plus 1 pi over 2 is 3 pi over 2. If I add another pi over 2, it's how much? 4 pi over 2, which is 2 pi. And now that you guys have that all figured out, it's really easy to graph this. Again, where do we start? At the x-axis. This is a sine curve, so you're always going to start at the x-axis. How do you know which direction to go? Should I go up first or should I go down? Why should I go up? Because 2 is positive. What if it was negative? You go down. That's it. So I'm going to go up to 2. You always go back to the x-axis. Then I'm going to go down. Then I go to the x-axis, and it would just continue to do the same thing. And then you just connect your dots in a nice smooth curve. And you created your sine curve. Once you identify those 3 things, the amplitude, the time period, and the increments, it's really easy. You just figure out where you start. We're going to go through this pretty quickly. Now, this is the cheat sheet that Ms. Thompson, Carver, and I used in previous times, but we're not shifting left and right. But you guys, the amplitude is how high or low. The time period, like I said, is 2 pi divided by the b. And then we will talk about vertical shifts up and down. You just take the whole you take the whole thing, and if it's adding 2, then you take everything up. The whole shift is what I meant to say. I didn't say the word, but I was thinking shift, and then I said you just move the whole thing. But it's like when you add or subtract a number at the end. Like if it says x squared plus 4, your u moves up 4. So if you have a plus or minus at the end, we'll talk about that next week. And then phase shifts, we're not going to do. We're not going to get into that. Your homework, guys, is a PDF. I put it into the assignment. It's from WebAssign, but I did a lot of like erasing and stuff. It's just stuff like this. So you guys can just practice. So let's graph both of these. I'm going to do one in blue and one in another color. I don't know, pink. All right, so first thing I like to do is say, where am I going to start? At the x-axis or the amplitude? I'm starting at the amplitude. Since this is a cosine, we're going to start at the amplitude. So let's talk about what the amplitude is. Koi, stay with me. I'm almost done. Okay, we have amplitude, time period, and increments. How high and low does this graph go? 1/2. It's the number in front. Your time period. Time period, you take 2 pi and you divide it by the number in front of x. So it's what? 2 pi. We're going to go from 0 to 2 pi. How do we find the increments? We take our time period and divide it by 4. So how much space is in between each tick mark? Pi over 2. So this is just like the first one we did. So I'm going to start here at 0, and I have 4 tick marks. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's my first tick mark? Pi over 2. What's the second one? What's pi over 2 plus pi over 2? Pi. What's 2 pi over 2 plus 1 pi over 2? 3 pi over 2. And then what do I end with? 2 pi. Perfect. So if I'm going to graph this, say here's 1/2. And here's -1/2. Where'd you guys tell me I'm starting? I'm starting at the 1/2. And once we start there, we go where? To the x-axis, then down to the bottom amplitude, then back to the x-axis, then to the top amplitude, and it would just continue. To graph it, you just connect it in a nice smooth curve. Don't connect the dots like you did when you were in elementary school. Nice smooth curve. So now let's do the other one in red. Again, where am I starting? At the amplitude. So what is your amplitude here? +3. All right, so what that means is where are you going to start? At +3. Does anything else change here? What's your time period? 2 pi over 1, so just 2 pi. So what are your increments going to be each time? It's 2 pi divided by 4, which is pi over 2. So it just stays the same like it is. But your graph's going to look a little bit different because your amplitude is different. If we start at 3, come down to the x-axis, go down here, here, and here. Do you see how that 3 in front of your function made it kind of skinnier? It made it like smush a little bit? Like together, stretch together, whatever? Questions? All right, there's 2 more to do. We already talked about a reflection. If I have 3 cosine of x, where do I start? At the amplitude. Which one? +3 or -3? +3. If I have -3 cosine of x, where do I start? At -3. Okay, say I had -2 sine of x. Well, where does sine start? At the x-axis. If it's a -2, I start at the x-axis and I go where? I go down to -2, and then I go back up, and then I go back down, and then I go back up. All right. Let's do these two. These two, I changed them, so go ahead and change them on yours. All right, first thing I like to do is to identify where I'm going to begin. What kind of a curve is this? Is it a sine curve or a cosine curve? It's a sine curve, so I'm going to start where? At the x-axis. Perfect. So now the 3 things I need to identify before I start graphing is the amplitude, the time period. Pay attention to this, guys. I'm doing these 2 for a reason. And the increments. The increments is the space between each tick mark. What is the number that's at very front of the function? 4. So your amplitude is 4. That means how high does this graph go? 4. How low does it go? -4. Perfect. All right. How do you find the time period? 2 pi divided by what? The number in front of x, which is 1/2. Okay. What happens when you divide fractions? Okay, so this is really 2 pi times 2 over 1. So what's your whole time period, guys? 4 pi. Good. We're going to go from 0 to 4 pi. And then how do you find the increments? You take your time period and divide it by what? Divide it by what? 4. Okay. It's always by 4 because there's 4 spots. So how far away is each tick mark from each other? Just 1 pi. This is really easy to graph. So you set your graph up. What's the highest and lowest I'm going to go? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, -4. And then my increments. My first tick mark starts at what? Pi. What's the second one? 2 pi. What's the third one? 3 pi. What's the fourth one? 4 pi. Your graph is always going to look the same, guys. It's a matter of making sure that each of your graphs are going to look the same, but what's going to be different are the numbers, like on the amplitude and your increments. So that's why you got to make sure your math is right. But where does this graph start if we're a sine curve? At the x-axis. I'm starting here at 0, 0. It's a positive 4. So what direction is positive? Up. I'm going to go up here, and then I come back to the x-axis. Then I go down here, then I go back to the x-axis, and it would just continue. So here's your sine curve. If you want to make it continue through, that's fine. You don't have to. All right, last one. First thing we need to do is say, where are we going to start? Cosine starts where? At the amplitude. Good. Okay. What kind of a cosine curve is this? A positive one or a negative one? Negative. Good. All right. So let's talk about our amplitude value. It's just the absolute value. How high and low does it go? How many units? You can just say 3. The negative tells you where to start. All right. So your time period. How are we going to find the time period? It's 2 pi divided by 2. So we're talking about from 0 to pi. There you go. So your increments. I can't spell. Your increments. We're going to break this up into 4 pieces. So how do I figure out my increments? Pi divided by 4. So each tick mark is going to be pi divided by 4 away from each other. So as we set this up, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, how high and low do I go? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, negative 3. Starting here at 0. What's my first tick mark? No, my first tick mark, my increments. It's pi over 4. So now to get to the next one, I add pi over 4. What's pi over 4 plus pi over 4? 2 pi over 4, right? 2 pi over 4, which gives me pi over 2. So add another pi over 4. What do you get? 3 pi over 4. Good. So if I have 3 pi over 4 and I add another pi over 4, I get 4 pi over 4, which is pi, which isn't that what we were supposed to stop at? All right. And then this, now it's easy. Where do I start? I start down here at the negative 3. Good, because your amplitude is negative 3. That's where you start, at the negative 3. And then I go up to the x-axis, and then I'm here. And then I come back to the x-axis, and then I'm here. And then we just connect. So your homework is just a PDF that I took off WebAssign, and it's just, I think there's 10 questions. I think 6 of them are graphing like this. It shouldn't take you long, but you have the whole weekend. Well, we're going to start chapter 5 on Monday. We're going to do 5.1 and 5.2, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, this is probably the grossest stuff that we do all year. Some of you are just going to be like, oh my God, this is easy, I get it. Most of you are going to, it's tough. Do you guys remember proofs in geometry? Like, you have to prove y from one step to the next. It's similar to that, but it's with trig identities. With like sine and cosine and stuff like that.